I know. Oops.
I did get to my daughters in St. Louis. So that was fun.
The pictures were great, Sue.
Good afternoon, Krista. Thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for having me.
We're excited for your presentation. We'll get started right now, I guess. It is 12:15. Good afternoon, Rotarians. Welcome to the April 12th, 2021 Valparaiso Rotary Club meeting, where we grow diverse leaders for local service and global impact through meaningful and dynamic connections. As you know, we are celebrating Rotary's 100th anniversary, the Rotary Club. And in January 1971, the Valparaiso Rotary Memorial Foundation Incorporated was chartered. The grants were designed for vocational education and yearly scholarships were awarded. The founding board of our foundation were Quentin Blatchley, Warren Phillips, Palmer Johnson, James Richmond, Robert Smith, Robert Rowe, Bruce Douglas, Albert Dogan, and Thomas Womax. Robert Rowe donated $1,000 to start this foundation. I would like to thank Mary Jo, Jamie, and Greg Farrell for bringing us together via Zoom today. Thank you, Greg. And if you would please now join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you, Jane, for the flag. Very nice. Okay, Leslie Plesac, invocation.
Hi, everybody. As we gather, please bow your heads. As we gather here today as members of Rotary, we pray that we are ever mindful of opportunities to render our service to fellow citizens and our community, keeping in mind always the enduring values of life, exerting our efforts in those areas and on those things upon which future generations can build with confidence. Let us continue to strive to make a better world. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Leslie.
Yep.
Do we have any visiting Rotarians or guests? I see Mr. Kuhlman. Welcome. All right, I will turn it over to Annetta Jones, Sergeant at Arms.
Hey, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful day today. Do we have any good news today? Oh, I see Stu has some good glasses. Excellent. Let me see. I got to check the next page. Did anybody raise their hand over here on this page?
I do. I have.
Oh, there you go. Okay, great, Diane.
For the first time in a year, my granddaughter was able to come visit for the weekend.
Oh,
we went to the
that's
Michigan City.
awesome.
We went to the Michigan City Zoo, Washington Zoo, and we went to other things in town. It was delightful.
That's awesome.
No.
Other good news.
I went to see my grandchildren over the Easter weekend, and it was the first time I'd seen them in 14 months.
Oh my goodness,
So,
that's fantastic.
I know.
Congratulations. Well, we see you, Stu. You've learned how to put some filters on. That's awesome. Good news. Well, if there's any other good news, last call.
Andrew.
Hey, Annette, I got one.
Andrew's got one.
I'm going to
gosh.
share this just because you're doing Sergeant. So this
Great.
weekend, my wife went down and did the 4-H shooting sports coordinator training in Lafayette.
Yes.
The good news is I didn't have to go do it, but she came back certified in another shooting sports discipline for 4-H. So I'm sharing that because Annetta's.
That's awesome. Good for you guys. Awesome. Well, that'll keep you on your toes too, Andrew. Other good news? Well, Andrew, that leads me right into what I was going to say today. This past week, our extension specialist for money management did a webinar with us, and she reminds us that there are 3 different types of situations as far as families and individuals that are recuperating from the COVID pandemic financially. So she said group 1 was a reduced income and struggling. And group 2 was stable income, but anxious. And group 3 was increased income with opportunities. And she gave recommendations in each of those areas. I won't go over all of that, but what I did want to share with you were her thoughts of the things that everyone, regardless of what their financial situation, should do. And the first one was to get your estate plans in order. Also good, Andrew, if your wife is trained in shooting sports. I think that's pretty important. So with that, make sure that your will, your living will, your durable power of attorney are up to date. That's for everyone with 550,000 people having passed because of COVID. This is a good financial strategy. We don't want to leave people behind that are at a loss as to what to do with our estate. Check your list of beneficiaries. Your life insurance policies and all of your retirement savings plans should have a list of beneficiary. Make sure those are up to date. You don't want to leave anything to an ex that you forgot was written into your will or into your life insurance beneficiary. Prepare a list of digital assets with username, pins, passwords, and log on information so that those left behind can take down your Facebook page after you pass. Create an updated spending plan to reflect your current income and expenses, and identify and act on those things that you can control, such as your health practices, your saving, your spending, your gifting, and you can control your mindset and the amount of your exercise. With all of that, it should improve your outlook for the upcoming days as we emerge from this pandemic. With that, I turn it back over to you, Dawn.
Great. Thank you, Annetta.
Hey, Dawn,
Yes.
can I just announce today that the Porter County Health Department is accepting walk-ins today at the Expo Center for anyone 18 years of age or over between 9 and 4:30. So this is Moderna only, but if somebody's waiting and they aren't getting their shot for a while, they could go today and get it.
All right, great. Thank you, Sharon.
Mhm.
All right, a couple other announcements. John Reed has set up another highway cleanup for us. That will be Saturday, May 8th. We will meet at 7:30 a.m. at the Family Express there at the corner of Silhavy and LaPorte Avenue. Again, the ribbon cutting is May 12th at 5:30. So please RSVP using the email for Jesse on the invitation. Also on the 12th of May, Stuart McMillan is being awarded the Good Scout Award. There will be a dinner and a reception starting at 6. The dinner's at 7. So congratulations to Stu. Any of you want to leave the ribbon cutting to go support Stu, that would be wonderful. Okay, I will turn it over now to Meenakshi so we can get to our program. Meenakshi?
Yeah, hi. I see Krista Sills is there. I was getting a little nervous. In fact, I was calling her because I didn't quite see her now, but I see she's there, our presenter today. And very happy to welcome Krista Sills, representing Housing Opportunities. She actually has been there a long time, 5.5 years in different roles, different titles. At present, she's the Director of Supportive Services of Housing Opportunities. She served as a case manager and a case manager coordinator. She graduated from Bloomington, IU Bloomington, and participated in the Americorps Program 2 years with the United Way. So Sharon, you probably know her. Since then, she has served and worked with a lot of the nonprofit community in Porter as well as LaPorte County. Her husband and a 3.5-year-old son live in Valparaiso, and they love outdoor activities. She'll be discussing the issue of homelessness in our community, and I'll let her describe what she's going to be discussing. And welcome, Krista.
Thank you so much. It's good to see everyone. And thank you again for having me. I am Krista Sills, Director of Supportive Services with Housing Opportunities. Today, I will be discussing the programs that we offer here at Housing Opportunities for those experiencing homelessness, but also we have services for those that are looking for just having an affordable rental in the community. I can also talk about a couple of client stories and the current projects that we are working on in the community. So I can get right into it. I don't want to go into too much detail because it would be a very long presentation. So I'm going to do just a brief overview of what we offer. And I think it's easier for me to explain it in terms of what happens when we have someone enter our office doors. So there are a couple of things can happen. When someone comes to us and they say they are experiencing homelessness, we will have a housing advocate or a staff member sit down in a conference room and meet with them. We hear their story. We ask where they stayed the night before. And if that does meet the definition of homelessness, we will conduct an assessment. So that is the first step for anybody experiencing homelessness to do in order to receive services. This is a statewide process. They require us to do an assessment, and it's called the Coordinated Entry System. So the assessment asks questions, and based on how they respond, they receive a score. And this score determines the priority in which they may need our services. And then they are put on the list. And this list is kind of like a waiting list, but we get this question all the time. We'll say, where am I on the waiting list? Am I next on the list to get pulled for one of your services or your programs? It's not an actual waiting list in terms of when you took the assessment. Again, it's based on that priority score. If someone is high on that list, so if they have a really high score, it means they're facing a lot of barriers. These barriers, the common ones are anyone facing mental illness, physical disability, chronic homelessness. It can be anything to do with their household. So are their children experiencing barriers as well? Do they have drug abuse, alcohol abuse? All of these things are played into that score, which determines who we want to pull next for our services. So this list currently is shared between a lot of other shelters, agencies, anyone that needs to pull someone off the list for their services. And this is shared between those in Porter and LaPorte County. So currently, I think there's around 150 households. So again, this is households, not number of people experiencing homelessness, but over 150 currently of those who meet the definition of literal homelessness. That means they're living in a place that's not habitable. They're living in their vehicle. They are living in a trailer or a unit that has no running water, working utilities, someone who's staying on the streets, in a tent in the woods. And anyone who meets that definition will be placed on that list after they do an assessment. So we also have services such as street outreach program. We have 2 street outreach coordinators, and their job is to go out into the community and search for anyone who might be experiencing homelessness. They have their spots that they go routinely visit out in the woods. They will find tents, they'll find, evidence of someone who is living out there. They will leave notes, they'll leave their business card. Sometimes we get calls from the police, and they will go and meet with someone who is in need of our services. And then through the street outreach team, they will get connected to housing opportunities. They might be able to do an assessment with them on site, and they can then be placed on that list. We also have a resource center, and I don't know if a lot of people know about it, so I want to get the word out. If anyone's experiencing homelessness or needs a place warm to be, they can come to housing opportunities, and it's kind of like a day center. So that is Monday through Friday between 10 and 2. We have the resource center open for anyone to walk in, and they'll be directed to the resource center, which is in our basement here at 2001 Calumet Avenue in Valparaiso. We have services such as case management on site. We have Wi-Fi, computer access, free laundry. We have our food pantry and a restroom facility that they can take a shower and get cleaned up if needed. And at that time, we will get them in touch with street outreach coordinators. So if they do need further services, we can assist them with that. We also have our homeless shelter, which is our emergency housing here on site at 2001 Calumet. If you guys notice, it looks like an old motel, but each one of those units is a unit for those experiencing homelessness. So we will pull people off of the priority list who have a higher score, and we will place them in those units, and they receive on-site case management. We get them connected to places for employment. We can get them help with food, and if they need mental health services, we can get them connected. And we really focus on housing and income goals. So our goal is to have people stay here a shortest amount of time. And we want them to obviously be exited to stable housing. That can actually mean they can be transferred to our rental assistance programs, which we have several of those, but I won't get into all the details, but they'll qualify if they're experiencing homelessness. So they can go right into our rental assistance programs, which is rentals in the community. Those can be by private landlords, leasing offices, anywhere where you can rent a place to live. They can be a part of our program. And it's about a 12-month program, as long as like a year lease lasts. And so a lot of times clients from the shelter will be entered into the rental assistance program, and we can get them stably housed quickly that way. We also have permanent supportive housing, which is long-term rental assistance and supportive services program. Both of these programs are in Porter and LaPorte counties. So we do serve both counties. And let's see, I'm trying to think what else. The other side of that, so those are for individuals or families experiencing homelessness. The other side is if someone comes into our office and they have income and they're looking for rentals. We own and manage several rental properties in Porter and LaPorte County. And so that is a separate process, and we can assist those individuals or families apply for our rentals, and that's a normal waiting list. So it is based on when you complete the application and when it's processed. But we do have rentals, so and that's in Portage, Valparaiso, the city of LaPorte, and Michigan City. And I might have already talked too long, but I just want to see if there's any questions so far about our services.
Yeah, this is Jim Burns. I'm the director at Family Focus. We do home-based family preservation services. So we've worked with you before.
Yeah.
Anyway, where does Section 8 stand now? What's the status? What's going on with Section 8? Is anything happening with that?
So I don't have a current update. I know that we are informed through Porter County Aging Community Services if the Section 8 waiting list is open. And then in that case, we would inform our clients who might be interested in getting on that wait list to apply. But we usually get updates through the Porter County Aging and Community Services on that. So I don't have a current update.
Yeah, I'll call you in the future and make an appointment with you, but I'd like to, and we work with families from DCS, so I'd like to have a conversation with you about a new service standard they're doing. The second question I have are, what are the rules and regulations for people that are staying there, such as they have to be looking for a job, they can't be any drug abuse, there's a curfew, et cetera, et cetera?
Sure. So, and are you referring to the emergency shelter specifically? Okay. So we are considered a low barrier shelter, which means that we are going to take those who actively are using. They can tell us that they are struggling with drug abuse, alcohol abuse. We will tell them they have to sign a program agreement. So it does state on there, you cannot have those illegal substances or alcohol on our property. But we want them to be honest with us on what they're struggling with. So we use the housing first model, and that means that everybody deserves housing. So we are going to have that low barrier so we can assist people who may otherwise not have that opportunity to get where they need to be. But we want them to be honest with us because we want to know what they're struggling with and what they would like to work on. Typically we see those who are finally housed and they don't have to worry about living out, in the woods, every night survival. If they have a safe place to stay, they're typically more open to work on the next things that they need in order to get to that stable housing. So we will not accept those who are a registered sex offender because we do have families here on site. And then the other one is we will not accept someone who is charged with a crime against another person. So we do run background checks, but those are the only two reasons that we would not accept someone here in our shelter. And once they're in the shelter, they receive weekly case management. That is a requirement. And they have to be working on those goals of income and housing. Otherwise, we will exit them. Any other questions? I can go into explaining maybe a couple of our client stories if there's no other questions.
I just have a comment for Jim. Jim, I believe Jamestown these days is open for Section 8. If you want to check that out.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I can share quickly a couple of client stories. There's someone that was residing with her grandson at one of the other local shelters. They were on the priority list and we were looking to fill a spot in our rental assistance program. So we ended up pulling her and her grandson for the spot. When she was enrolled in the program, she had no income and her grandson was enrolled in school. And there was a lot of family history that she was struggling with. She also had, she was concerned about her mental health and she needed to get connected to services. So we did get her into a rental unit in Chesterton and she's been in the program for quite some time. And she's going to be officially, well, she will graduate this month. She is now employed. She has saved enough money to maintain her stable housing. So she will remain in her unit currently. She's going to do a month-to-month lease with her landlord until she finds herself the appropriate housing that she's looking for. Her grandson is excelling in school. He's doing very well. And she successfully enrolled in getting herself mental health services that she needs. And therefore, she is a huge success for us. She really worked the program. She met with case managers on a regular basis and she saved and now she is exiting to stable housing. And then another example is we had a single gentleman a couple years ago. He was working at one of the restaurants here in town, but he was living in the woods in a tent. He was still able to go to work, complete his job, but then he would go back to his tent and he would use the restrooms at gas stations to clean himself before his shift. And he came in, I actually met with him and I completed his assessment. We pulled him, he went into our emergency shelter for a while. And then he was also one that went into rental assistance eventually. And he is now in a 1-bedroom rental unit in Valparaiso. And he has renewed his lease for the last 1.5 years on his own. So he's someone that he found another job during the program that paid more. So he was able to save and now he's on his own and doing well. So he's a regular that checks in with us, and proud to say that, you know, he is independent now and he's excelling at every aspect of his life. And then currently we're working on a few projects in town of Portage and Valparaiso with creating more affordable housing. So those will hopefully be available for renters to apply for in the next year, within the next year. So we are busy getting more housing opportunities available to any renter in the community. Any other questions about any of our programs or services we offer?
I'd just like to say that one of my clients who has a rental, we have gotten a client from Housing Opportunities for the last 2 years, and it has been a very good experience. My client is very happy with that. And she's glad that Housing Opportunities is able to, you know, help with this and back up the person. And it has really worked extremely well.
That's great.
Krista, I have a question. This is Sharon.
Hi.
Hi. The university apartments that they are planning to remodel and turn into low-income housing, will Housing Opportunity be administering those?
So that's a great question. I will have to run that by Jordan, our CEO. A while back, I think I heard about that, but I actually don't know currently what our decision is. So I will find that out.
Thank you.
Good question.
Yeah, because it's going to be a lot of units. It looked like in those two, they're going to take 2 of the buildings, and it looked like there's going to be 100 and some units. So
yes, yeah, I'm just as interested in finding that out as you are. So let me get the answer to that, and I'll let you know.
All right, Jordan has my email.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
Any other questions for Krista? No. All right, Krista. Well, thank you very much. Very informative. I didn't realize all of the resources and all of the opportunities you had for people. That is wonderful. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. If you guys have anyone interested or just wants to know if they are eligible for services, they can call our main number, and then they will be directed to a housing advocate or one of our staff.
Great. We'll definitely keep that in mind.
Great. Thank you, guys.
Yes, for being here today. We will donate a children's book to the Valparaiso Public Library in your name.
Awesome. That sounds great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay. Next week, Meenakshi has Dr. Singh. He will be with us. As far as any announcements, again, please feel free to share the link to invite a guest. And does anyone else have anything they'd like to share with the club, since we have a few minutes?
Dawn, I would just like to invite any members of Rotary that are interested in serving on the invocation committee to reach out to me and let me know. We've lost a few members who have gone, are no longer in the club, and we could really use, a few more people to join us. Okay.
Great.
Hi, Dawn. I apologize. I came on a couple minutes late. I'm not sure. Did you have a chance to mention anything about the video that the students have put together?
I did not. I will send it out so everybody can see on my Friday email, but do you want to talk about it?
Yes, the Morgan Interact Club was asked by district to do a presentation, a video presentation of their projects and their work. And so they've been working on that. They submitted it to district, and it is due to be viewed and be part of the district meeting on Saturday morning. But Dawn's gonna submit it with the newsletter, so you can all take a look at that.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. Congratulations to them.
Hey, Dawn, it's Greg. I put in the chat that we've been uploading videos to the YouTube channel, so you can find the link in the chat. So please subscribe to we have 6 whole subscribers on our YouTube channel now. So we're up to 6. Love to get like over 10. It'd be great. So we're trying to put the meetings up there and any other videos that will happen, obviously with the ribbon cutting and with the highway cleanup. There's been posts on Facebook as well, so you can find out information about that. And just a reminder to all the committee chairs and everyone else that is in the club, we're only as good as the content that we can get. So if you have any information, just feel free to email me or anybody on the committee, just so we can get these posts up. Thanks.
Wonderful. I will put the YouTube link in the weekly email as well. And you have got all the meetings you recorded since December 14th, right?
Pretty much. There's been a few that I've obviously missed, or the recording didn't work or whatever, but for the most part, they're all there, and then the descriptions are there as well. So I'm just doing them by date right now on the videos.
Great.
You can just click on the link and just see all your smiling faces throughout the last few months.
Sounds good. So if you've missed a meeting and you were interested in the speaker, please feel free to check out the YouTube channel and watch the meeting and the speaker.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we will close with the 4-way test. Please join me. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? All right, everyone, have a great week. Enjoy the sunshine. Bye-bye.
Bye.